Let's go.
Dr. Rosie Milligan, one of the most sought-after speakers on the circuit today. Her live internet talk show, Express Yourself, is the most provocative, thought-provoking, and talked-about radio show on the internet. There's no holds barred, and Dr. Milligan puts the B in bold. She brings it every Tuesday live at 10 a.m. Pacific and 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Dr. Rosie has been proclaimed the most provocative female writer of the century. Her books include Satisfying the Black Man and Black Woman Sexually Made Simple, Why Black Men Choose White Women, and the book Nigga Please. These books have raised eyebrows across the country. She has authored 21 books and published 350 titles for authors nationwide. Check Dr. Rosie out at drrosie.com for her books, articles, and archives of her internet talk show. Sit at the feet of wisdom. Dr. Milligan is indeed a timekeeper and scorekeeper. She is the clock, calendar, and almanac for Black America. You need to hear her.
Good morning, top of the morning in sunny California. You guys, it is hot out here. You listen to the Express Yourself Hour. I am your host, Dr. Rosie Milligan, coming to you live with nothing but straight talk. That's how we do it around here. Nothing but straight talk. My co-hosts today are the wonderful Mr. Keith Swanson, the Invisible Man. Everybody keep looking for him. He's going to show up one day. Good morning, Keith.
Good morning. Yeah, I'm in my virtual self right now, so I'm letting the AI take over for today. So if anything goes askew, we have to go back and reprogram it.
All right, ain't nobody mad but the devil. Okay, my other co-host Shawannah Bordenay, she's a valid girl. You guys, she's a valid girl. She's an author. She's a real estate guru. You want to buy, sell, rent, whatever you want to do to that house, you know. She's there for it. She's an expert in the real estate industry. And she is my co-host. Good morning, Shawannah.
Great morning, Dr. Rosie. Great morning to you and to you too, Keith.
Okay. Well, great, you guys. We have a wonderful show for you today and a most needed one. And I think we got people already. Hold on. So I'm just going to do a little introduction here. And we're going to talk to the people, What we're talking about today is why marriage has declined among Black America. Now, for my questions are this. Are Black women fearful of never getting married? Are Black women making bad choices when choosing a mate for fear of not getting married? Are Black men afraid to get married? And if so, why? It's time for an honest dialogue about Black relationship and particularly marriage. One of the most important social changes unfolding in the United States over the last half century has been the decline of the institution of marriage. And you guys look, in 1960, 74% of whites were married, and that rate dropped to 56%, from 74 to 56, about 20%. But this is a big drop. But for compared to the plummeting marriage rate among Blacks in 1960, 61% of Blacks was married. That was the good old days, Keith. Okay, we were waving the sign, hey, I'm Black and I'm proud. Let's get down. Get down. 1960. But by 2008, it was only like 32% of Blacks was married. That's like a 50% drop. Blacks get divorced more often, and they remarry less frequent than whites. Folks, we need to look at, when we start talking about the economic decline, Keith, I can't see getting out of the ditch as long as we're looking at these stats, because it's proven fact that when people are married, their social, their physical, their mental health is better. They have more ties, so they have more things to live for. The household income is greater. I mean, can't you see why we're at the bottom of the bottom? We got to have everything. We always alone with everything we do. My own business. Can't come together, nobody. Got to have my own church. We oneness, this individuality is really destroying us. With two salaries, you can't hardly make it. Now, but when you're talking about, wow, the rate of marriage among blacks, that's frightening, Keith. See, people never tie all these things in when they start looking at our economic condition. They don't factor this in about the family, how important the family is. You're in a house, you break up, now you're going to lose the house because neither one of you can keep it. They'll go to property. Wow. It makes me sad when I start thinking about that. You know how sometimes you do shows, and once you do all your research and look at it, then your heart just sinks. I mean, we're in a new day. We're in a day now when even, I remember when a pastor could not be a pastor of a church if he was not married. You guys remember that?
Yeah.
But now, you don't have to be married to be a pastor. So we're talking about that married institution. So when you have people, members, looking at the fact, well, my pastor's not married, and he's the pastor, it weakens a whole lot because you know he having sex with somebody, okay? So now you've been, church-wise all this time, well, you don't have marriage till you don't have sex, you get married. You don't, that's what they call it. What's the word for Shawannah? Fornicating, whatever they call it. So now you got the head of the church, not married.
Fornication.
Yeah. So now you're looking, you're saying, well, now I guess it's okay to fornicate because I don't think he's abstaining. You guys,
no.
We got
you
some
can tell
issues.
by the rose.
Yeah. We got some issues here. But this is one of the biggest problems with Black America, that we are not getting married enough, not staying married. So, I'm just going to open these lines up for, I want the men to call in and the women, because women, I mean, they're making bad choices because they want to be married so bad. Or some of them don't really want to be married, Keith. They just want to have kids. And so when they get married, the minute they have that baby, they done with that man. That's why the marriage doesn't work out. They didn't want you in the first place, okay? They just want a baby.
They wanted a baby. They wanted a baby within the bounds of wedlock, so they can say that they're not a baby mama.
Yes, they didn't. So they didn't have the baby out of wedlock. So they done with you the minute the baby come out. You notice that every time you come home, she's talking about the baby. He peed on the couch. He jumped on the floor. She's not saying anything about you and don't even have any time for you. And really don't even care to have sex with you. That's real talk, you guys. That's real talk. So I think we have somebody on the line. Let's see if we have somebody on the line who want to chime in. Let's see what's going on. Can you see the board, Keith?
Yeah, CP. He came in earlier. CP?
Oh, okay.
You want to chime in?
Yes, sir. Good morning. Top of the morning, everybody. Yeah, I want to chime in, but first of all, I want to say I'm not trying to tell people anything, especially Black people, because they resent that. They feel like, how are you going to tell me anything? You think you know more than me? And I want to share something with them to the best of my knowledge, free of charge. I got a book I'm reading right now. Say, average is over. Average. And I remember Aretha Franklin say, who's zooming who? Dr. Milliken, you have really opened up a big discussion here this morning. I won't be all over the road with it. But when we talking about marriage, we have to define. I have dealt with a few females that had been molested when they was little. They just couldn't get into trusting a person. We have people married of the same sex now. We have to look at these different components that took us away from the value system that we had anyway, because I remember grandmama used to run the Uncle Bubba's house, and what she said and that went. So he knew that she knew the structure of the family even when he came and got us. So this have to be, I think, in my opinion, maybe with the radio station, this needs to be a town hall meeting, because here's a big discussion here. And when you look at people getting out of jail, like a little guy in Chicago, right across the street from the jail, they shot him 64 times. In Mobile, Alabama, they was having a little beef to little youngsters. They went and killed both of the grandmothers. One had an oxygen tank on, and when they shot him or whatever, the whole house burned up. So we got a lot of things going on. Back in the day, Sam Cooke had a song say, you got the whole world shaking. Something must be going on. So something is going on here, fellas. And we need to set some of these young people, insist that they come in here. And Dr. Middleton, we need to have a serious town hall meeting because we are in a serious crisis and it's extreme. I appreciate you guys and keep on pushing the message.
Let me say something because I hear people talking all the time about it. It's like we're blaming the young people for everything. We really need to we need to teach these old folks something, and they need to teach their own children because when children grow up, when they see everybody around them divorced or have no respect for marriage or family, then what do you think? They don't see it as being important. They look at the fact, well, my mama wasn't married and she did good. She didn't need nobody. She did well, you know. These are some of the conversations, but then you need to ask mom, how well did she do? How happy is she? Could things have been better if she had been married? Just have that dialogue, and then you get to know something.
I want to say this to you. When I've been on a task force, you know, before Miss Mobley died for 30-some years, almost 40 years, everybody was talking about, we got to do some public outreach. No. You have to do some public engagement. In order for you to do some public engagement, those parents that told the child, look, I'm on Section 8, I'm getting food stamps, go to school, somebody asks you some questions, shut your mouth. We must learn how to engage so we can engage with that person so they can maybe get us in the house. Because when you get in these households, in reference to what you just said, you'll find out the mama, the grandmama, the daddy, the granddaddy, all of them, they've been in a world that they really not educated. They've been banging all their life. You understand what I'm saying? And
yeah, but CP, I'm going to stop you right here and ask you this question. Are you married?
No, I'm not
Why?
married.
Why?
Because marriage, look here. Marriage don't have the same significance as it was. It's not that I wouldn't
get
married.
Wait a minute now. Let's talk about I'm bringing
hold
you
on,
back.
hold on. Wait a minute.
No, I'm bringing him back because I'm looking at CP. I know too many black men out here. There's the educated, that's community oriented, community activist, and none of them are married, Keith. So I'm trying to say, why aren't you married, CP? Just give me a straight answer. Why aren't you married?
Quick answer, CP.
Make it short. It ain't no easy fix.
It's not easy, but we need a short answer, though. We need a short answer, though.
Because I chose not to. You know what? Let me say this here, quick answer. Hey, I've seen people married and been married 100 years and got 50,000 women out here. So I'm not married because I chose not to. That's why I'm not married.
Okay.
How do you feel about that? You got all these black women who need a man, need a husband, need fathers for their kid, and you are black conscious. I'm gonna go back again. You should be married. So that's a conversation for another. That's for another show, CP. We're gonna talk about that later.
Hey, you got to look at, when you're talking about marriage, you're talking about marrying an animal, marrying another person the same sex. So this, like I said, I would love to see y'all have a town hall meeting on that, because that's a discussion that we really
it's really not that difficult. Because I talked to a whole bunch of men, and it's really not that difficult. The reason, and this is something that I actually asked. I actually asked like 30 years ago, right, when to a couple of psychologists. I think it was Jamal was presenting something, and I asked them straight up, because they were talking about the so-called marriage 2.0, where where men and women don't have any defined roles anymore, right? They're supposed to be partners and figure it out when they actually get married. And I said that's a recipe for disaster, because people for the longest time have been trained in their roles, so by the time they got together, they knew what to do. So how is this going to work out? 30 years later, this is what you have. You don't have husbands, you don't have wives. So how you going to have a marriage without a husband and a wife?
Exactly. I think we have another call.
Mm-hmm. Caller, what's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yes, my name is Abel. I was just chiming in on why I'm not married, and I'm 58 years old.
Where are you calling from, sir?
I'm calling from Los Angeles, California.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry, and the reason that I'm not married, because when I'm trying to date a young woman, either she have kids or still stay with her parents, her finances not together, and top it off, she's not looking for that type of support, financial support. And then on the flip side, when you really try to get to know them, they're more into females now. And
Wait a minute. Wait. Now, let me back up. Am I hearing you say that are some of the women that appears that you think are available? Because you're looking and you're finding out that they're into females and not into males.
Okay.
Right. And if you don't really go along with that concept, and then they kind of like, okay, and then they'll pull back. So since I'm old school, I don't knock their program, but I don't indulge in that type of, affair as well.
So how young are we talking?
I would say 8 out of 10 females.
No, so how young are you? Are we talking?
Range from 47 all the way up to 58.
And they're in the, they're not young then. Okay, so.
So Lavelle, are you saying that they're wanting you to go along with bisexuality?
Right, and if you don't, and then they look at you like, oh, okay, well, it's the norm now. But no, it's not the norm, because the norm, I believe in man and woman. I don't believe in sharing my woman with another woman.
Mm-hmm.
This conversation getting deep now. Y'all turned me on to something. I didn't know they got.
So why do they want to be
wild like that?
So why do they want to be married if they because it's open? Why don't they just get a female if they why do they want to be married?
Well, one lady I was talking to, she was in a relationship. They was going to church together, her and her husband, and next thing you know, her husband said, "Hey, if you really truly like me like that, I want to have another partner." So she said, "Well, I'm not resident, but I would get you one of my female friends who you always liking." And so she ended up doing that. And so next thing you know, it was supposed to have been a one-off. So she said she's not going to do that, that activity anymore. So he kind of like said, if you don't do it again, I'm going to expose you who you are. And so as we was talking, she said, well, I'm not gay. I just did it for my man. And then a lot of females, you hear them, they so loyal to their man, but if the brother is not really sincere, he's going to entrap them and say, hey, I want a female.
Okay, so if that's the case, then they're not really into females. So why are they demanding that you be into the same thing? I'm not getting it.
Because they got introduced to something they really liked.
Oh,
I didn't know they liked it, but now they're introduced to it. Like, okay, well, what you think about this? No, that's not my thing.
Okay, all right.
Well, Lavelle, would you like to be married?
Oh, sure.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Have you tried younger women?
No, I don't date younger women. Yeah,
why?
I go probably five years down and probably 2 years up.
Okay, so why not?
Why?
Mm-hmm.
I try to stay in my lane, on a maturity level,
So you with someone 35, that would be you wouldn't date someone 35?
No.
Okay.
All right, Lavelle, you turn us on to a whole lot of stuff. I didn't know people swinging like that. I mean, I didn't know people swinging like that. It's just open now. It used to be such a private club, so now, wow.
Yeah, that's what they've been pushing this for the last 20 years. So
right. The more you push that, the less creation.
Mm-hmm.
Lavelle, thank you for calling and keep listening. Listen next week. Keep calling. We have interesting topics.
I see. Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Open the Pandora's box here, Dr.
Oh,
Rosie.
yeah. I think we have another caller, 323-750. Go ahead, give us your name and what's your thought?
Caller?
750-352?
I said they hung up. Okay.
Oh, this is that. Oh, it's turning into a little bit more than I thought. That's interesting.
You open the door and there's no telling what's come through, Dr. Rosie.
Wow.
I've heard that. I've heard that, and I heard
That's
a
my
lot
first
of
hearing that, Keith.
Oh, I've heard that, and there's a lot of men that push for it. They push for threesomes because normally that's a white man's thing, but sometimes that kind of stuff when we start going to school with them, it starts to bleed over, and now it's bleeding over, especially since they're pushing the whole gender fluidity thing. So it's being pushed.
It's frightening though when we think about you. You can't get her straight now. Lavelle was honest. He said, "I want to be married."
Mm.
You know, CP started
Yeah, he
talking about
sounds
because
sincere.
what he see about other people and what other folks doing. I know these people who married, but they got 50 other women. That has nothing to do with you. So I want to know why you're not married. So you can't get a straight answer many times from men or women.
Mm-hmm.
Well, more women will be more frank about marriage. They may say, "I don't want to be married because had a bad marriage and I just don't think it's for me."
Sometimes.
Yeah. Or sometimes they'll say, hey, "Shut up, Keith." Sometimes they say, "Well, I don't want to be married because I don't want to have another man over my children." You know,
Well,
they give different reasons.
that's true. I've heard that too.
Well, I wish Cedric would call in. I'd asked him to call in because he was telling me that. I mean, his side went about as wild as Lavelle. He was telling me, what did he tell me? That he wasn't going to date a woman with excessive makeup and weaves.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And I wish he called in. He can tell you.
He wants you to have excessive makeup?
No, he does not. He said because he want to know that he's dealing with a woman because they're running into too many men who are parading as women. That was a whole different take when I was talking to him about that.
Yeah, I have a friend that he runs the gate at Atlanta Airport for Delta, right? And a lot of these people come through the gate because they fly to the Dominican Republic and they get these surgeries and stuff like that. And so they fly back into Atlanta and then go elsewhere. He said, he said the surgeries are getting so good. He said he's having a hard time telling who's who. That's how good the surgeries are. You can't tell. That's why a lot of guys don't want the excessive makeup, is because there are people out there that you can't tell anymore because they shave the Adam's apple. They have the hormones to get them to soften them up. And then with the makeup and the makeup and the implants, you can't tell. You can't tell.
Wow.
In fact, you just had a transgender on the Sports Illustrated swimsuit cover this month.
Wow.
So they're really pushing this agenda.
Look, there's something on the board. Read it. I think it has to do with what we're talking about.
They are pushing a population control agenda with the promotion of these rainbow style relations and lifestyles. Partially. I agree with that. I think the agenda is a little deeper than that.
Because even when they want to go the different direction, many of them still want children, right?
No, not really. The ones that doing that lifestyle, no, they don't want children.
Well, no, some of the ones that are like serious with each other, they decide that they want kids and raise kids, whether it be men or women.
Well, the thing is, if they're gender swapping like that, then there's no way that they can physically have kids with the partners that they choose unless they're going to choose.
No, but they adopt them.
Yeah, well, you can adopt them. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what a lot of them do.
That's really difficult.
Yeah.
But bottom line, let me give the number out for those who listen. It's 310-928-7733. 310-928-7733.
But that's the reason marriage is kind of self-destructing, because there aren't any rules anymore. There used to be hard-coded. No. When you were born, Dr. Rosie, and when you came up, there was hard-coded rules and hard-coded roles for men and women. Okay, they just obliterated all that stuff.
Exactly. Wow.
Someone told me the other day, they said, you know how marriage should be? And I said, tell me. And she said, you marry for 10 years, and at the end of 10 years, you decide if you want to get remarried or not.
Oh, yeah, I've heard that before.
Wow.
So you don't have to be married after 10 years. You have to actually remarry in order to get married again.
In other words, it's a contract. It's a serial contract. So if you, after 10 years or 5 years, you can go back and renegotiate the contract, see if you want to sign up for another 5 years. And then I've heard that. That's
really
good.
love see if I really love you in 10 years.
Wow. But you know, it used to be when you got a divorce, it said blacks get divorced more often. And you can factor in, one day we'll go down and look at everything we talk about, we'll factor in those things that has a lot to do with it, because finance, economic has so much to do with divorce. So much to do with it. So you can see why there's a lot of divorces in the black family. And then and they less frequent to remarry because they come through the pain. I don't want to experience this again. They're mad forever with everybody. But back in the day when you got a divorce, it's just so easy to get a divorce now. That's why people just walk out and be gone. You had to manufacture a reason, and you had to prove certain things. But now all you have to do is go down and tell the judge, Your Honor, I don't want to have nothing to do with this man, this woman. You reconcilable different. You don't have to tell what the reconcilable different are. All you have to do is state that as being the cause, and guess what? You are out of that marriage. It's so easy. I don't think you get it. I don't know. I don't think it should be that easy.
Well, it shouldn't be, but they want. In our community, is really they passed these laws for white women. They didn't pass it for us. They wanted to give the white women more freedom, and this is what they pushed for. This is what they got, but it has an effect on us.
Wow.
Because it's hard. It's harder for black men and women to stay together. It really is.
Well, look what's on the board here. He said, "This is a man."
Yeah, that's the new Sports Illustrated cover. That's the first transgender cover for Sports Illustrated swimsuits. That's a man.
Wow, that's unbelievable.
That's how good the surgeries are getting.
Wow. Well, I tell you, my heart goes out when I think about this marriage situation, how devastating it is for our community, because the person who really is the victim of this, Keith, is the children who have to come up in this economic deprivation, poverty. Kids end up stealing, selling drugs, getting into gangs, doing stuff, And a lot of this come out of broken homes. It really does.
It does. And the thing is that, because I talk to a lot of guys, and if you look at the stats, and it's, I always go back to, I always remind guys what you said to me a long time ago, Dr. Rosie. That's got to be well over 10 years ago, right? When you said that black men and women are in the reverse order of nature, right?
Yeah.
You said it a long time ago, right?
Yeah.
And if you look at the stats, the stats pointed out, black women, it makes no sense why black women are the most divorced and the least married. That absolutely makes no sense at all.
Right.
Black women are divorced at over 70%, and 80% actually filed by women, and they only married at 26%, and it's been consistent over the last 10 years that I've been looking at it. That absolutely makes no sense.
Well, we're just an accident going somewhere to happen. Okay? We are just an accident going somewhere to happen. If we keep this ratio up, I'm telling you, because the next generation, it'll get worse.
It'll get worse.
Another 30 years from now, how many black people would be married?
And then you see stuff like this, like the cover, and guess who the biggest champions of this kind of stuff is? Or the intellectual black women. They're the biggest champions of this gender fluidity and stuff like that, which also makes no sense.
Well, they do have a lot of myths about marriage. They say, they tell you that most wealthy black men are married to white women, and that's a myth, because they will never show you all the wealthy black men who are not married to white women. Majority of black men marry black women.
They do.
But they like to show you this picture, and you hear people say, well, people you get a college education, you're just shooting yourself in the foot as a black woman, because you definitely ain't gonna find no man. I mean, that's the kind of myth that people have out there. In other words, stay ignorant.
They can find men, but the thing is that two-thirds of people with degrees are that have degrees are black women, right? So if two-thirds of the black women, then actually more black women than actually black men are, and two-thirds of the degree holders are black women, and one-third of black men. If a black woman wants to find a man on her level, it's going to be harder for her to actually get married. If she wants to stay on her level. That's the issue. It's not that they can't find a man. They can't find a man that they want. That's the issue.
But Keith said that's the problem. Let's underline. When black folks realize, number one, you're not Caucasian clones.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? You cannot compare yourself when you look at the fact, a man is supposed to do this based on some of these books you're reading.
Mm-hmm.
But you're talking about the man who has your man working for him. So that means he's making far more money than your man. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So we need to set the standard. When you're talking about finding somebody on your level should not just be based on income.
Mm-hmm.
Underscore. Should not just be based on income. What are all those other criteria that you're looking for in a man other than how much money he's making? Because you can get a man who make a whole lot of money, have you and a whole lot of other women, doing a whole lot of other things. So are you comfortable because we both making $150,000? Does that float your boat?
It's interesting because I probably could do like a couple of shows on this, right? Because I think I was in a hangout in a stream with a friend of mine, right? And there was a young lady. She was college educated. I think she was she a community college professor. And she said that she needs what they call high value man, right? A man that makes a certain amount of money. So I said, okay. I said, would you ever date a trucker? And she said, no. I said, why? She said, because they're never home. I said, but don't you think truckers make a lot of money? And she said, no. I said, so I actually asked the people there in the chat. I said, okay, how many people in the chat are truckers? They happen to be like 12, right? I said, how many of you truckers make north of $90,000? All of them did. I said, who makes the max? The max was $150,000, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I said, okay, you got 12 guys that are single that make the money, kind of money you want. Would you marry them? She said no. And so I asked the truckers. I said, how many women with degrees did you date? Okay, all 12 of them said zero. In other words, even though they made the money, even though they had great jobs, even though they were great guys, okay, that's not the kind of guy that woman wanted, or those kind of women want. So,
she's seeking prestige. She wants to have a doctor. She wants to have a lawyer.
Yeah.
And half of them is almost bankrupt.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, that's the real deal. You know, they are struggling like everybody else. Even a lot of your doctors are struggling because they have all this overhead. Insurance company not paying. People have been forced into HMOs versus being in their own private practice. That's why you need to find what really makes your heart tick aside from money. I'm telling you. So when we separate that, take money out of the equation, I'm not saying that you need to marry somebody who's not making anything. You have to take care of them. No, you don't need to do that. But I think you're going down the wrong road when you're trying to find somebody that makes it at least the money you make or more. Yeah. And that's why I hear he got to at least be making what I'm making. Well, if you put what you're making together with what he's making, if you guys have other things in common, then I don't see why it can't work. I think this money issue. Money breaks up the family. Money keeps family from getting together. So as long as money gonna be our issue, we're going down the road backwards.
Yeah, and it is backwards. That's why it's all dislocated, because I think a lot of men and women are actually looking for a reason to exclude people rather than include people.
Looking for a reason not to get married.
A reason not to get married. Yep.
Well, a man told me once, you guys, and I thought this was interesting. He said black men rather shack than to get married because of the responsibility. He said, if I'm in a shack up relationship,
you can walk away.
I can walk away, in addition to the fact if things get really bad. And he said, what if we get evicted from our home? I don't feel as bad being evicted in a shack-up relationship than I would if I'm being evicted with my wife? So I think wife takes on such a responsibility and connotation for black men to ascribe to what society have said what a man should be. You're supposed to bring in the bacon. You're supposed to be responsible for everything. Be responsible for the house note, the car note, the woman's orgasm. Be responsible for everything. That's a little bit too much to be putting on a man, you know? But I tell you one thing for sure. If this picture does not change.
Go ahead. Go ahead. I can hear one. I can hear the wheel spinning. Go ahead.
What you gonna say, Shawannah?
Go ahead.
I just said they can handle it. They want to handle it.
The men want to handle all that responsibility?
Yeah, they want to handle it.
I don't think they do.
They want to let people. They do. I mean, the women have to help as well, but, you know, I think it takes two. But the men can handle it.
But the thing is you don't want it. What a lot of guys don't want is it following them and say they split up. Okay, if you split up and she goes her way, you go your way, then there's no more responsibility. But if you have that piece of paper, different story. Yeah. Ask Dr. Dre about that.
Oh my God! Did you hear how much? Well, I guess he making a lot of money, $3.5 million a year.
He got away clean because she wanted half. And
how much was it? I didn't hear.
$3.5 million a year.
A year, and she wanted half.
Nothing. Are you kidding me? Oh my God!
It's nothing compared to what he would have had to pay if it wasn't for that prenuptial. Because he's worth $800 million, and it'll take her over 100 years to get half at that rate.
Oh, so he did have a prenuptial, and she still get that amount?
That's the judge can modify a prenup, but he said you got to give her something. So, but he had a prenup, and she claimed he tore it up. I said, you're a lawyer, you're an attorney, and you went on his word. I said, no, he didn't tear that stuff up. Your attorney, you would have gone down to the law office after you had him sign it.
Oh, she's an attorney?
Yeah, she's a trained attorney.
Okay.
Yeah, so she had no excuse.
Right. I think we have another call, Jonathan. I haven't heard from Jonathan in a long time. Jonathan, what's up?
Hey, Doctor, how you doing?
I'm good.
Where the women at, though? That's what I'm wondering. But go ahead, Jonathan.
Let me tell you. What's happening now, everything's declining because there's no more loyalty anymore.
I wasn't going to say that.
That's the problem.
I wasn't going to say that.
No more loyalty. People got too many choices and they see something better, they're going after it. 9 times out of 10, it's somebody that that's in the circle. And they're waiting for you to quote unquote screw up. And they're already out there.
Oh, they already got a couple of rams in the bush, huh?
Let me tell you guys something. This could be funny to you, but I used to date an Italian and Irish lady, right? And her ex-father-in-law was an Italian man, and he cooked for the presidents and everything. He said, listen, son, let me tell you what you do. You go to a foreign country and you find yourself a lawyer or a doctor in that country. You bring them over here and you get certified. You won't have any problems. And I said, my God.
Wow.
And he said, you never have to work. And I thought, my goodness, I never thought of that.
They just want to get over here so they can work, huh?
But I'm telling you, there's no more loyalty and nobody's willing. I call it everyone's got the quote unquote fuck it-itis. Okay. As soon as something happens, fuck it. That's what everybody does.
That's true.
So they run out with something. And the problem is, I ask women all the time, if I ever get sick, are you going to take care of me? And I look at their first reaction. And if it's negative, I'm gone.
This is actually on Reddit, right? This is a story, and I'll tell it real quick, right?
Yeah.
There was a guy, his wife had got a good job, right? So she called him, right? And she called him at work because he was a programmer. And he made like $150,000 a year, right? And she said, guess what? I just got a job, and I got a great job. I'm getting paid over $75,000 a year. I could make $100,000 with bonuses. Isn't that great? And he said, you know what? I said, I'm so happy for you. He said, you know what? I've been stressed out. I've gone through the shrink about being depressed and anxious and stuff like that. I need a break. And so if I take off for a year, because I'm thinking about quitting, if I take off for a year, will you take care of me? And she said, you're going to give up $150,000 a year job? I ain't taking care of no man. And he said, okay, I thought you would say that. I didn't quit, but I wanted to see how you would react. But I didn't quit my job, but said, when I get home, why don't you just pack your stuff and leave? So what
You
you
know,
just said, yeah.
Yeah, Joan Rivers said this. She said, first time you get married for love. She goes, the second time you get married for the money. She says there's no more marriages, there's mergers. And it's
Yeah.
true. I
Yeah.
tell people all the time, I hire and fire on a regular basis. Because right now, it's a job, either way, male or female. So you got to go through and lay out the parameters. You're negotiating a deal. Let's face it. I like you. You look good. You make me look good. You got a great body. I got a great car. We're negotiating. You know, what happens? You get over 10 pounds. I got to renegotiate this.
You know what? It's really interesting. My sister and I wrote a book. She's an attorney. We wrote a book called What You Need to Know and Do Before You Get Hitched. And I think anybody out there thinking about marriage or shacking in a serious relationship, you need to read that book, because we ask the question after the marriage. Because some people are so anxious to get married, they're afraid to dibble into the thing that really means the most to them, because they think it may turn sour for the marriage. So once they get married, they feel like I can just throw all of this. They need to talk about everything: sex, methodology, all of that. You can't just wait to get married and then you try to swing something on your wife.
Oh, that's exactly what happens.
Yeah, they don't talk about it.
They act it out. No, we're married now. You can't do that. Who said it? What are you talking about?
That's right. You need to know. Question: Do you got to get that book? Do you owe back taxes? That's important. What's your credit score?
There you go.
If you have children, are you paying child support? Because if you're not taking care of those children,
how about
why am I going to have a child?
Were you born a woman?
Jonathan.
Oh, there we go. See, it's been left again.
Hey, y'all want the truth. I'm trying to give it to you straight out. I'm in a lot of different circles. I do a lot of people. You got to do the Crocodile Dundee test nowadays just to make sure what you're doing.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do.
I want to see baby pictures. No, that ain't Haleen. That's little Harry. I mean, what happened?
Come on, ex-wife.
One thing about it, we are not asking the question that can sustain a marriage. We ask before. You
know
need
why?
to ask that person, Jonathan, about the sexual appetite. That's very important. You think because this person this is a church girl, the reason she doesn't want to have sex with me, so I'm going to respect that, because I know when we get married, she hasn't had sex with anybody, it's going to be on, not knowing that you're marrying an impotent woman. Women are impotent too.
But you also have to ask, Doc, what organs are going to be used?
Well, you need to ask.
You know what I'm talking about.
No, you're getting ready to go left. You're getting ready to go left. All right,
yeah.
Stop, Jonathan.
No, I'm just saying,
Money is sex are the deals that breaks a marriage. Sometimes it's because a woman, a man is paying too much in church, they believe in tithe. You need to ask that person, do you believe in tithing? Because if you don't, and I'm putting 10%, we're going to have some issues. Because you don't believe, because you think I'm giving the preacher the money.
This is Teddy Pendergrass, 50-50 Love. He wrote a song about I'm giving 70% and she's giving 30%. I mean, he wrote a song about this.
No, everybody needs to give 100%. 100%. But anyway, we asked the question too late.
The thing I look at is this. You got to have someone, if you're a person that's seen a lot, that person's got to seen a lot. Because otherwise, when you're going out somewhere, this person may be influenced or get duped by somebody. Next thing they're into something. So you really have to be somewhere along those socially on the same page, unless you're going to marry someone that's in the house already. Eddie Murphy covered it great in Raw. He said, I can go get me a bush blank. After when she comes back here, she gets Americanized. You got a fufu asking for half the money.
Give me 50.
Okay.
Yeah. Give me half that.
Jonathan.
I want 50, Eddie.
Yeah. But
what have you done for me lately, Eddie? What have you done for me?
Okay, Jonathan, I have a question for you.
Okay.
Jonathan, are you married?
No.
Then, Jonathan, why?
The lady that I was really in love with, we had a great relationship, she had to go move and take care of her mother that lived in St. Louis, and I have no desire to live there.
You have to live there to marry her?
Well, you want to be with somebody long distance relationships, let's talk about that. That doesn't work. You're growing into two totally different individuals. I've tried that.
Okay,
and I don't care how much Skype or video there is, it's not the same. So
you actually really saying that you really would like to be married. You just haven't And see, that's the other excuse I
Look,
tell
I'm
them.
interviewing. I'm hiring
Well, he
fire
didn't
on a regular
answer.
basis.
He didn't answer.
You
He ain't
can't
in
get
Do
a
you really
man.
want to be married, Jonathan?
He ain't in no
Oh,
rush.
sure. I'd love to be married. You
Well,
kidding
then
me?
you would be married.
You know why? Because out there, you're in a danger zone. If you're 50 years old having sex with one under 40, you're in a whole different STD pool. You got a problem.
Jonathan.
Yes.
Hold up for a minute. Let me tell you something. You do not want to be married. Anything you are self-driven. Everything that you've ever wanted to do, Jonathan, you have done that. I know you. Okay. You do not want to be married bad enough. Otherwise, you would be married. You're just playing. Okay.
No, that's not true.
Yes, it is.
No, let me tell you why you're incorrect about this. I've seen a lot of things that other people haven't seen. So you can't someone's got to be able to walk with you, have somewhere near that. And they laughed and joked about Wesley Snipes. They said, Wesley Snipes, they got on because he didn't date black women. And Wesley said, look, I'm doing these movies that are international. I did this Chinese, Japanese movie. He did that stuff with Sean Connery. They're not around. So I can't agree with that. I just can't.
That's a bunch of bull right
you
there.
look, like I said, a lot
That's
of
a bunch
like men
of
and women
bull.
are looking for more reasons to exclude rather than
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, I'm around these people. A lot of people, I could say the same thing about black men. They're not at the top. When you're in corporation, as
that's
a corporate
different. He said it
woman,
wasn't around.
most of the men, the black men, are not there. So when you want something, just like when a person wants whatever they want bad enough, they'll go find it. Okay, that's nothing but a lame excuse for these black men who talking about.
It's hard to
I'm
find
not
somebody out
around
there,
black
Dr.
women.
Rosen.
Come on, sister. I mean, preach on their behalf. I mean, I'm getting the short stick here. I'm not
Yeah, you getting the short stick.
It's
Come
easy.
up in here with
It's
that
easy
mess.
to get married. The thing is, you're not in a rush, and you've been very, very
You
particular.
don't want to get married.
But only those. Also remember this, Dr. Rosie.
You don't want to
It's
get
called
married.
like when you're from the streets, they say where you from, and when you're dealing with educational people, they say what's your frame of reference. Okay, so look, we have two different frames of references. You're from a school and body that's this. Now my mother's that same way. She's a choir director at two different churches, but she hasn't seen what I've seen. You have to take that into account.
I don't care what you
I went to Tahiti in New Zealand. Now see, that's the thing. How can you not care? I can't tell someone about what they haven't walked in my shoes. It's like when somebody dies, I don't know what their grieving's like. I say, look, I don't pretend to know. What I say is I can imagine how you feel. So I just can imagine how you feel about the subject. You can't say I'm wrong.
You got 4 billion women on the planet. You can get married, okay?
That's
the thing
right.
is, you've been
No, you can't just get married just to anybody.
You want to stay at home. I see what you do.
No. Basically,
You can find a lot of people, but if you're not connecting, you just aren't connecting. So you can't just get married. That's why there's divorce.
I tell you, the lady on this line sounds really nice. I wish I could, get a photo and conversation going.
See, that's the whole thing. Back in the day, that's why I said that's.
See, y'all shoot me down for that. Here, I'm trying. You see, I can't win.
When they had roles, it was more
Hi,
about
Jonathan.
About
Hi, sweetheart. How are you?
And everybody.
Okay, how are you doing?
See, there we go.
Fabulous.
There we go.
Love you,
what? Jonathan, you might be able.
Wait a minute.
You can save me, Doc. You can save me. I'll give you
Got a
10%.
connection here.
You might be able to make it with Shawannah because she's a valley girl. Okay.
Well, he's not.
Oh my Lord! You talking about Encino? I grew up out there. I know something about that. Gelson's Market.
Okay.
And my boys open a restaurant out there, Versailles on Ventura. I've been all up through there. Balboa Park.
Okay.
Yes,
Give us your closing remark, Jonathan, and go somewhere and find your wife.
all right. All I'm saying is this: until you walk into a person's shoes, we'll never know what they're truly about or what they've been through. I will tell you this: if you're seeking something, your thought energy creates a physical reality around you. And don't sell yourself short. Don't settle because they say, I don't know who they is, okay?
Jonathan.
That's what women.
I have to agree with Jonathan. I totally agree with him.
And Jonathan,
Dr. Rosie, send me that lady's phone number.
You keep listening. Keep listening. Go somewhere and get married. And stop lying. You go somewhere and get married. I'm tired of lying.
Hey, look, I'm hired here as a wedding coordinator. Thank
I don't
y'all.
know. That's a hard one, Dr. Rosie. That's a hard one.
Let's take another call. I'm tired of being.
I was trying to be quiet over here, but
you don't want to.
I had
Hey,
to come in.
assalamu alaikum.
Let's take
You
another call.
don't want to get married. You don't
Bye,
get married. I can hear it.
Send me that lady's number. She sounds
will.
good. All right.
Let's take another call. Go ahead, caller.
Shawannah had his
It's
back.
me, Catherine G.
Captain G, how are you today?
I'm fine. I've been through the stages, but one of the things that I'm 83 years old, and if I look back, one of the biggest problems that we've had and we're going to continue to have, and it's going to get worse. They don't seem to know.
Catherine, hold just a minute. Somebody is holding on and they need to hang up the phone.
Yes, I hear him.
Maybe the technician will hang up on him. Okay, go ahead, Catherine.
Most of the problems stem from the lack of having grown up in a well-groomed family. Mothers and fathers communicating together with the children. Mm-hmm. Most of the problems that they have for lack of understanding is because they've never been in an environment. My mother always said you have to watch who you copy. And in most cases, if a woman wants to get married, she's looking for somebody that she can communicate with, that has money, that she can socialize with. But 90% of the time, you don't have that. The man is looking for a woman that's making money. The woman is looking for a man that's making money. They have different education levels, different socialized levels. The type of person that you're interested in and would want to be married with is the locations, the places that you would want to share together. Most people don't do that. And it's sad. And the children right now have the worst examples throughout the country, throughout the world.
How you doing?
From political to home life. Most of them don't even know who their fathers are. And the man that they're saying is their father may not even be their father.
Well, I think what you're saying, Captain, is true when you're looking at role models. If you're looking at families after families coming up with a single parent, whether it be a woman or a man, then it's very difficult for them to even establish what the role that they should play, a healthy role that they should play when they have never seen a husband and wife interchange. They have never seen what it looks like. They don't know what it feels like. So then they get into a relationship guessing this thing, trying to figure it out. That's why a lot of the problem comes because there's no roadmap. They haven't seen. They're guessing on what they see on TV and what their girlfriend or what their boyfriend are saying. You got to see something. When you see something, then you have a pattern. And too many of our people are not seeing it. So I'm looking forward, if things doesn't change, that the next generation and further we go up the road, there's going to be few people getting married or having a stable relationship because they don't really know what it looks like.
Yeah.
And Tim, you need to hang the phone up, please.
And the other very important thing, and it's what I was taught, how to be independent.
That's the problem right there. Now, I could talk on that all day. That's the problem with black women. I'm independent black woman. Why do you need to be independent? No other woman talks about being independent. Independent means I, me, my. I don't need you. I can do it by myself. That's how a lot of black women today, I can do bad by myself. I mean, these intimate stuff, we really need to stop spewing out. They asked a man to do something. If he doesn't do it right, then she jumps up and do it herself. I can move this couch. I was moving couches before I met you. This independent ideology is what's destroying a lot of black women. Other women are taught, even if you know how to do it, make your man feel significant. Make him think that he's the only somebody that can do this job for you. Black women are speaking just the opposite. I don't need you. I can do this by myself. I'm doing this before I met you. Folks, we could spend a whole month. We need a whole conference on how to be to make things work. But I'm telling you, Captain, this thing doesn't change. You haven't seen poverty. You haven't seen poverty yet. Okay, let me go to Tim. He's been holding all day. Tim, go ahead and put your little part in. Catherine, thank you for calling. Tim?
All righty.
Tim, go ahead. You've been trying to get in all day. Tim? Okay. Tim was trying to get in when we came back to him, and we getting close to, I want Jamal to tell me when this show is going to re-out, so you guys need to call your friends and tell them to get on, because I'm telling you, I'm sick of these men lying about why they're not married. I'm just absolutely sick and tired of it. They can find all kind of reasons. I bet they can't find any reason. If they don't want to be married, why they having sex? If these women stop having sex, I bet you there'll be a whole lot of men getting married. If they stop having sex with them, I'm not saying the marriage is going to last, but I bet you they will propose. They, you know, my daddy said, why buy the cow when you can get the milk free? Okay? Why buy the cow when you get the milk free?
That's
Women,
right.
we make it too easy for these men. Go ahead, Tim. What you got to say? You've been trying to get in all day. Why you not married, Tim?
Well, I'm not married because it seems like the ones that I want to get with, I can't get with, and I'm not going to settle just for anybody just to have somebody. What's the point? And then I'm miserable, and then the next thing you know, I start doing these destructive things. So I don't want no part of that.
Well, what kind of woman you want, Tim? The one you want, you can't get. Why you can't get with the one you want?
Because she don't want me, so life goes on. Life goes on, and it's for the best anyway. You know, but
why you think they don't want you, Tim?
Well, could be a lot of reasons. You know, I mean, for one thing, you're not my type. I'm not attracted to you in that way. In what way are you attracted to me? Or I don't like you in that way. So I have a rule now. Once they start saying friend, we go in separate ways. Well,
Tim, hold up, Tim. Come on. Why can't you be friends first? Why can't you allow the woman to be your friend? You don't know what it'll turn into.
You know, that's how it starts off, though.
Sorry. You missed the point. If we started out that way, that's fine.
Okay.
But what I'm saying is they'll say, well, I don't like you in that way. I just want to be a friend. That means that that's somebody that you don't want to be intimate with. And I'm not going to fatten no frogs to feed any snakes. That means I'm setting means I'm setting her up for some other man and then run back to me when she got problems.
Well, sounds like you're talking about a woman who wants something from you, too, who asking you to buy them a drink or to help them out. So I'm hearing that coming through with you, but then they just want to be your friend. Am I right?
Well, they have no interest in going beyond that. So,
but do they want, Tim, are they asking you to do something for them? But they don't want to be intimate with you, but I want you to buy me a drink. I want you to help me pay my car note or do me a favor.
Yeah. Yeah, and I don't deal with people like that. I have to admit, in the past, I did, but it didn't go that far as car notes and stuff like that. But money adds up. So the way I look at it, that's fine. It's for the best.
But Tim, do you want to be married? Let me ask you that question.
Of course, and then it's the financial consideration. You know,
what's the financial consideration?
Well, it takes money to live. You know, you can't just live off of osmosis. If that was the case, we wouldn't need money.
Well, are you talking about equality? You talking about making the same amount of money that the woman is making?
No. You know, because her abilities may warrant the fact that she make more money. That's not the issue. But, you know, like I say, is that there is somebody out there. It's just that I haven't met that person. So I'm going to keep on living my life.
You're not looking. I'm going to say the same thing. I'm so sick of you men calling up here talking trash.
I'm tired of you always doing that. You know, but
Dr. Rosie,
I ain't got no pity for him, Tawana. I'm tired of lying,
I will say this, Doc. I don't expect for nothing, but I will say this. 3 things that could make or break a situation, not necessarily in this order: money, sex, and people. In other words, money's going to always be a factor. Anytime a woman tell you money don't matter, run from her. You know, at least with the woman that's about money, she is upfront about it. Then you got a choice whether if you're going to play ball or not. And then sex, like you were saying, you got some that are not intimate. You got some that may have had a number of sexual relationships, and now she's burnt out from it, you know. And then the third thing is people, oftentimes family and them friends. They can also be a hindrance, too, you know.
Oh, yeah. What you want with him, he can't do nothing for you.
And not
now,
only
what I will say, Dr. Rosie, with men, a lot of men will go with a lot of different women, and they'll know up front that woman isn't really somebody they want to be with.
Well,
they already know that. So I think they should exclude them altogether and not try to date them. They should really just date women that they're truly interested in and not just wanting to sleep with. And then they will find the right ones after.
That's why I said women need to stop being so free. Because once a man get where every which way he turn, it's a no. He will start thinking twice about trying to meet somebody he really care about and getting serious and having them to be a wife. You know, when they can run from salad to Sue, they're gonna be longer getting married.
But then ask the question, why are they running? But part of that is on the guy, too, because if your objective is just to get a piece, be upfront about it and let her decide if she want to play ball or not. You know, because I will admit that you got some guys that are not upfront. You know, they just want to get it and go on. And you're right. But by the same token, that same woman that go for that guy will turn on a guy that's decent. So it's almost like a full circle.
Yeah. Right.
You know. But like I must say, it can happen. It's just that I haven't met that person yet. When I do, I'll know.
The thing is, okay, come on, Tim. Men know exactly where their level is, right? Because you hunt all the time. You know what you can catch and what you can't catch. And what my mother, one of the best dating advice my mother and my grandmother ever gave me, she said, pick from the women that pick you. Pick out of your tribe, pick out of your circle. If you do that, you're guaranteed to get a woman, right? And so basically, if you keep getting turned down, if you keep getting turned down, that means either one or two things: either you want a type that doesn't like you, and that's the universe telling you these women aren't for you for whatever reason, right? If you can't get a woman that's into you, then Try to convince a woman to be into you is the worst thing that actually happened, right? Either she is or she isn't.
That's the reason why I'm still single, because I'm not in the convincing.
Why do you keep shooting for women? Why do you keep shooting for the same type of woman that you keep getting shot down by? That doesn't make sense.
Actually, I'm not, Keith. See, I am beyond that point. See, because if I see that there is no interest, I don't waste my time. See, I don't keep hitting my head up against that wall because it's still going to hurt.
How about the women that like you?
Now, the ones that like me, I will admit in the past I made those mistakes, but I am more receptive of somebody that have an interest. It don't have to be 50-50 because it never is. But at least if it gets to that point, yes, I will explore it, you know. But it hasn't gotten to that point. I'm not worried about it. I'm going to live my life to the fullest and keep on going.
I have heard enough lies today. I have heard me some lies today.
I hear this. I hear this all the time. Okay,
but
I hear
I'm not mad.
From
my life is more than just being with somebody.
For men and women. Okay, basically, at some point, if you're over 30, then you know exactly what type of woman goes for you and what type of woman actually.
Let's wait, Tim. Let me take a call from 954 because we got to close up. But thanks for calling, Tim. 954, go ahead. We got a few seconds. Go ahead, 954. Caller, go ahead.
All right.
Okay.
Caller, go ahead.
954, we're waiting on you. Give us your name.
Hello.
Okay. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Hello. Can you hear us? I don't think you can hear us.
Okay. Well, I tell you, I've heard enough lies today to last for a lifetime.
Oh, my gosh.
What I tell you, Dr. Rosie, on both sides, they look for exclude rather than include.
And what happened to the women today, you guys? How come the women didn't call?
We got one.
Oh, we did? Okay. But these men, they're on the road. Call up here, lying. Everyone call up here, lied, okay?
They don't want to get married.
They don't want to get married.
They don't want to get married. All these women
It's
out here,
that.
we
But
talking
you know,
about 32.
there were two sincere ones that said, yeah, they want to get married. They
I don't-
sounded sincere.
Shawannah, they
don't-
lied, okay?
Lied. They don't get married.
They lied.
Yeah,
They lied, okay?
if you're out there hunting, most men know whether she's wife material within like 3 months. They know.
Yeah.
But and they know there's three categories for women that men have. What they call casual or jump off, girlfriend, and wife. Men know within 3 months which category that woman's in. Now they may wait around to see if she can move from one category to the next, but they know. You know, like most guys I know, I asked them, I said, when did when you got married, how soon did it take you? How long did it take you before you knew that woman was wife material or could be a wife for you? It's about 2 months. They know.
They know. And you cannot tell me, Shawannah, when we looking at the high rate of black women that's not married, that these men talking about they want to be married. Now, come on. They have a good pool to choose from. They really do. These men.
The problem is, Dr. Rosie,
I don't know about good
when they look at a woman.
Wait. Keep me going.
I'm going to tell you, Dr. Rosie, this is
about
what they
good
do.
pool.
The average man looks at a woman for their body and what they look like in the very beginning. They're not even looking at the person.
Oh,
so they look at him as a sexual object.
Like she's a car, honey. Rear end.
Right, exactly. And then when they get with her, they don't want her, and now they've wasted their time because the one that was really for them was the nice one that was standing right next to her. That was very nice as well, but was overlooked. Well, and so they just waste a lot of time. That's what they do.
Now, we done set up and did all this talking today.
Overlooked.
Wait a minute. Before we go off here, now, we done did all this talking, right?
Oh, gosh.
Now, Keith, why aren't you married?
Why I'm not married?
You thought you were going to get away.
No. I've
Just
had.
be up front, so I don't want to get married. That's what men need to say. Some of them don't want to get married. So I'd rather you say.
I'm going to tell you, okay? The three opportunities
I want to hear it.
Don't start lying, Keith.
I'm
don't start lying.
I'm not going to lie. I had three opportunities. I threw out the ring a couple times, and basically, for whatever reason, they want to go left. Okay? They want to go left.
What is going left, Keith?
I had to tell you off there we're going left. Okay, they went left in different ways, but in other words, all of a sudden they went off script and went way off script and hit a deal breaker.
Okay.
And what and I'm
you all should have a deal breaker.
We all had deal breaker. And the thing is that I'm like Joe Biden. I say what I mean what I say when I say it. When I say this is my deal breakers, I tell you up front, these are my deal breakers. Okay. And sometimes women want to test that deal breaker. Okay. Well, I want to see how much I can get away with. Okay. I said I wouldn't do that if I were you. I said, you did it once, don't do it again. Well, I'm going to do it again. Okay. All right.
Well, especially when you say it like that.
Okay, let's take another call.
Oh, my God. If you said it like that to me, don't do it again. I'll be like,
Yeah.
Let me do it again. I'm doing it again.
I'm doing it again. I said, okay, well, all right, see.
Yeah, you have to say, honey, you're supposed to say, honey, don't do that. Not that.
Okay, we can squeeze in another caller right quick. Caller, go ahead. Go ahead, caller.
But that's my answer. And I'm sticking to it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's see if we can get this other call in. Caller, go ahead. 662. Caller.
Going once.
Keith's not too forgiving. Keith, you must don't go to church and read the Bible.
Wait,
I think that person chimed in. Hello? Caller? But Keith raised an important issue. Keith, I really like that. That deal breaker, because this should be a deal breaker for all of us.
Yeah.
You know, and when it crossed that line, there's no point in trying to go on any further.
And they do, for whatever reason, they do it anyway, right? Because they don't believe that it's a deal breaker. And
but did they say, I'm sorry, I was just teasing, I was just playing with you?
A black woman saying, I'm sorry? Okay.
Yes, they do.
When?
Keith getting ready to make me mad now.
You know what? And I told this to a young lady because she needed to make up with her fiance, right? And she said she did something wrong. She said, what can I do to actually get back with him? I said, this is what you tell him. I said, I hurt you. I said, if you take me back, It will never happen again. If you marry me, I'll be the best wife that you could possibly have on this planet. If you say that, he'll take you back. Guess what she didn't do?
She didn't say anything. No.
She wasn't ready to do those two things.
She didn't want him back. She did not want him back.
She wanted him back, but thing is that she didn't want to sacrifice her position and her pride to get him back.
But he didn't need her.
Well, I don't know about that.
I'm a straight shooter today. He didn't need her.
I don't know.
If you can't apologize, then I wouldn't want to be involved with somebody who don't know how to apologize when they're wrong.
Well, you know what?
That's a deal breaker right there for me.
You know what, Dr. Rosie, you get the apology like 10 years later.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Too late now. He with somebody else.
Yeah, that's what happens.
That's I woulda, shoulda, coulda club. That's the woman who got into the I woulda, shoulda, coulda club. Okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah.
I think we have a call. We're gonna take the last call and we're gonna jump off here. Caller, go ahead. Caller, go ahead. 662.
Got 2 minutes.
Okay, this is Professor McLeod out of Edmond, Oklahoma. Plugging in with my partner there, Dr. Rosie. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Oh, I got the show, and I got my favorite barber on the line listening to you, and some more people down here in Oklahoma. I'm plugging in, Dr. Rosie, you and you guys. How you doing in California?
Good. It's good to hear from you.
Good. You know, I'm plugging in with you. Well, this is what I'm going to say, because it's time. The thing is, it's the latest thing, not the lasting thing. No, it's the lasting thing versus the latest thing when you got a woman. Relationship 101. That's my comment for today.
Well, Professor, I wanted you to tell everybody, you know, if we don't hook this marriage stuff up, we're going to be further in the ditch from an economic standpoint. That's the problem with us now. All these single families want everything. I want my church by myself. I want my house by myself. Everybody want to be by themselves. This individualism is what's destroying us. You can barely make it with two incomes. So all this one income is just going to take us straight in the ditch, you guys. You know,
well, I agree with you. I got one thing to say to that too, Dr. Milliken, you and your co-host. They get all like that until it's time for them to die. Because everybody wants some company. And I've learned that older people they're looking to hook up. Amen.
That's right. They better hook up.
Because they're looking at finances and who's going to take care of them before they die.
That's right. Because 2 Social Security checks sure go further than 1.
Well, look, I love you guys. Dr. Milligan, we're going to keep talking because I got some folks we're working on. So love you guys very much. It's wonderful down here in Edmond, Oklahoma, and Deer Creek. And I just want to let all those California people know, come on down.
All right. Come on down.
Okay. Take it easy, you guys.
Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you, and have a great day.
You too.
Have a great day.
Bye-bye.
See, that was a great call. I heard so many lies today. Person McLeod called up here and gave us something to really think about. You guys remember out there, 2 Social Security check will get you a studio apartment today.
Mm-hmm.
You take 2 Social Security checks almost to get a studio apartment. Do you hear me? So you hanging out there by yourself. You think it's cute now to be by yourself and chitty-chat and running with your girlfriend, but you're going to get older and you're going to see what that Social Security check going to take you. Okay? So I just
had a birthday, Dr. Rosie.
You did?
Okay.
Thursday.
Wow. How old are thou?
Yes, that's what I was saying.
See, that's what I'm talking about. I mean, trying to get the truth from people today. I don't know why I can't get truth today.
So it makes sense. That means you're a Leo, so that makes sense.
Yeah, Cancer Leo.
Wow. You guys, this has been a great show, but I really want you all to really think about where we're going. If we can't stay married and hold these relationships and build healthy children who want to be like us. And even if you're divorced, don't make your kids think it's something wrong with marriage. That's what a lot of people do. Men ain't no good. They just a dog. No, because it didn't work out for you, that doesn't make that man a dog. You know, don't have your kids thinking there's something wrong with men. Because if you keep harping on how bad men are, you might be signifying, you might be sending them a signal that it's better to be with a woman. Y'all better hush your mouth around here. You understand what I'm saying? We got to be careful what comes out of our mouth. And Keith, when is this show going to re-air?
The show will re-air. Did he put it down? I don't think he put it in the chat.
Oh, yeah, I see it. 6
You see
p.m.
it? 6 p.m. Okay, yeah. 6 p.m., 9 p.m. Eastern time.
Right. So you guys, I hope we've given you something to really think about. If you're in a relationship, try to get in the right one for the right reason. Ask all the right questions. And before you get hitched, you definitely want to get my book called What You Need to Know and Do Before You Get Hitched. Okay? You can call 323-750-3592, or you can go to Amazon, Barnes & Noble, basically any place and order that book. What you need to know and do before you get hitched. All righty. So you guys, the clock on the wall said that's all, and I'm just laughing now about all the lies I've heard today. You guys have a great one. Take care, you guys.
You too, Dr. Rosie.
All right.